Paramerican Radio starts right now.
Trust me, I knew this was coming.
I'm looking at you right now, and you're like,
that was so fucking funny.
Are you kidding me, man?
Oh my god, I'm gonna have to replay that on the podcast
I'm like,
over and over.
Like you're in fucking prison. You gotta stand back. You get your backs against the fucking wall. It's about not thriving. It's about surviving. Someone blinks, you're not getting mashed potatoes for dinner.
It's just funny, man.
You know what you were saying earlier before that about when you work in like union cities like LA or New York or whatever, everything is so disjointed. There's this process that it forces you to go through. You know, on a movie set, you have to go to the grip. Nobody can touch us except the grip. Nobody can touch us except the electric. The director, nobody steps in it. You know, so by nature, it now takes this long process. Well, we've always been out of that process. It's just
totally.
We've had to figure out, get this done, get this done, get this done, and get this done, and there are no excuses, so make it happen. So then educate yourself. Learn how to do it online, right? So when you learn all those things, you don't have to call this person.
We hold a fucking high bar. Like, I mean, well, Steve recently started working for us. Steve, how high is the bar that I set for you?
It's high.
I don't. I can't stand fuck ups.
I don't envy your position.
I just always look at it like, first off, I want to demonstrate to everybody how much I care, so I'll take on the most work. But if I'm going to expect whoever's working with me to put in as much as I do, you know, it's not more, you know what I mean? It's not like I look at somebody and say, I expect you to do so much more than me. But I expect them to be right fucking there, or at least striving for it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Well, you definitely, you are an inspiration. I mean, it's like, you know, for me to check in the way I check in with you, or early in the morning, man, it's, you know, sometimes I have nothing to report other than, you know, saying, hi, man, how's it going?
And you know what? Those calls to me, honestly, are worth more than the other ones.
Yeah.
And I mean that. A, because
I really appreciate
of this genuine friendship we've developed.
Yeah, totally.
But B, if there is a business side to it, it's just that when you're an artist, a lot of people don't know this, man, because we put ourselves out there. I mean, my life's watching American Ghost Hunter. Holy shit. Like, my life is out there.
Yeah, totally.
We are sensitive motherfuckers.
Yeah, totally.
Like, we are really sensitive. A lot of people don't know that just because we're out there all the time doesn't mean that we don't have, like, issues and, like, I mean, we're really sensitive dudes.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, as an artist, especially when your work is you, right? It's so easy to have that any kind of failure feel like you're failing. You know what I mean? And you always want the people around you that are, if someone says, like, I'm on your team, right? You want to know that's to the death.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that's how I'm on your team. That's how I'm on your team. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
It's just like any relationship, right? You look at someone and you say, look, I love you. I love you too. Like, you better really fucking mean it. You know, because I really mean it. You know? So it's like that. So those phone calls mean more to me than the other ones. Just to go, hey, I know you're stressing. Chill the fuck out. We're all good.
You know
what I mean? Like,
thank you, man.
Means a lot.
It's and it's not forced. I mean, it's like it's a pleasure to, you know, to call you and do that. And you know, with a lot of artists, and you know, Chad being kind of you know, the last of someone I really took on. It's my pleasure, man. I mean, again, you are.
It's been a blast.
Man, we're having a lot of fun, and not everything's going to be easy. And you know, we're doing this tour, and we're still finalizing it, and then we have different plans for, you know, a book and things and your story and like, you know, I mean, there's a lot going on. We're just scratching at inning number 1. It's kind of the coolest thing, and you remind me of why I actually do what I do for a living. And that's the biggest compliment I could give somebody. I mean, like, it is the coolest thing. It's like, I want to make that, you know, work. I want to give you every opportunity, you know, to succeed in, you know, whatever, you know, chapter we're going into. And
one of the coolest parts, if I could just explain to people what working with you is kind of like, is there's a lot of goals that myself, Justin, we have.
Totally.
Book, TV, movie, distro, touring, all those things. I always wondered when I got an agent, how would they approach? Because there's so fucking much. And usually, for the people listening, usually when someone brings on an agent, it's typically about like one thing they do. Like Connor's a boxer, right?
Yeah,
so everything's going to initially weigh around that, then branch out with success.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So with us doing so many things, with TV and also, I just didn't know. To kind of watch Richard's process has been really fucking cool. Just to see how he kind of sets it up and brings the right people in at the right time and allows their natural kind of excitement to grow with the news of the tour that is growing, and you can just kind of see. It's really cool to see it. You described it in the beginning that you said I'm a quarterback.
Yeah,
I gotta line my team up, call the right play, and then start moving the ball.
Yeah, that's exactly.
And there's times I would call, hey, how are we this? How are we this? And he would say to me, slow the fuck down, dude. We're at the 50. The ball's moving.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like it's not a touchdown yet, but the ball's moving.
Yeah.
How does that process work in your office? Do you have like some people you go to or a team?
I do, and I kind of I know exactly in my mind, and that's why I always say quarterback. I know exactly in my mind the plays I want to call, and I know exactly, for lack of a better metaphor, like I know I'm going to give it to this running back, or I'm going to throw it to my wide receiver or something. I just know who would actually understand what I'm trying to do. And if they don't understand what I'm trying to do, I'll do it alone. And that's where the quarterback just takes the ball and runs for the first down.
Well, that's a great analogy when you'd say that to me. You go, listen, the ball's moving. We're at the 50. You know what I mean? We were at the 40 yesterday.
Totally.
We're not there. I can't give you that news yet, but calm the fuck down.
Yeah.
And for those out there, I'll use the tour being one example.
Yeah.
Before Richard, we had always built everything on our own.
Yeah.
So we financed every last fucking thing.
Yeah.
We were always just to the hilt. We were just fucking pressed.
Yeah, totally.
And it's the most stressful way you could ever fucking live your life.
Yeah.
But we knew if we got to a certain point, we could demonstrate the value of our work.
Right.
And then we'd move on. Since Richard's come along, I mean, just from this tour to the last tours, we used to have to pay up front to secure our venues. Now we don't.
Right.
We used to have to wait until we'd sell our tickets, take everything out of it to know if we'd make a dime or not. Now we have guarantees. Like, these are things we've never had before, and we know we're going to make, our promoters money. Like, we know this. But it's such a less stress leaving knowing that there's somebody else sharing the responsibility with you. Yeah. There's just a lot to be said for that. Because then you feel like, now I got a partner in this market that's going to work hard too.
Yeah.
It's going to, meet me in the middle, and together we'll do great business. But now I have partners, and that has been, I mean, how big has that been for us?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's like huge.
Our first tour we ever did, you may laugh at this, or maybe you've heard a similar circumstance. We literally had no venues, nothing. We just set up the tour places we're going to be, and just said AGH,
we sold
Boston,
tickets in cities.
And overnight, we sold $26,000 in tickets overnight from starting point, right? And nothing. There's no information other than we're coming to your city. And people are...
Because we didn't know where we were going to be yet. So I just said, well, let's just announce a city and see if people will buy tickets.
Yeah.
And they did.
Yeah.
So then we went and did it. We booked venues. But that's how much we didn't know what the fuck we were doing in the beginning.
Well,
7 tours later, we got it down to a science, man.
Yeah.
But now it's so much more exciting to do this because, again, you've raised the excitement. Well, what you did is you've gotten people in a world where everybody's trying to get your fucking attention. There's a few people that can make you do it, and you've made people pay attention to us,
as you deserve to be. I mean, this is it's a really cool crew, and what you do, individually and collectively is really, really important. And the thing that I always with you, what I was hoping for all of you. Is to find a way in time to let the artists, plural, be the artists, and and figure it out. And again, we don't know what we don't know, going into this tour. But man, let's give you every opportunity collectively for you guys to just, on top of your success, how do we, ensure continued success, and how do we, I just want to take the worry out of what you do. There's a lot to worry about.
And you've already done it. And I to a certain degree, I know that worry is just going to grow as it builds.
Of course.
But I also know that I think what Kurt saw is that both of us have crazy fucking energy.
Oh,
and
yeah.
together,
we're
going to be deadly. And when I start bringing in someone like Justin, who is a detail guy, can go behind me to make sure nothing's fucked up.
Yeah.
And he has these, like, look at this room. You said, who designed all this?
Yeah, this is great.
Justin designed all this, right?
Yeah.
So these are, like, there's a whole other force of energy, and then you bring someone like Thomas, and who's detail-oriented, and him. Like, we're going to be deadly when this is all said and done.
Yeah,
I finally feel like the team is finally complete.
Well,
and that's because of you, man.
Oh, well, oh my God, man, I'm very humbled. Even though my car is parked on an angle and hopefully it doesn't get towed. Apparently I have a meeting with Kevin James' manager tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, listen, I'll tell you what to do.
But you guys, but kudos to you. This is fantastic, and I'm super thrilled. I'm more excited, believe it or not, than you are, and that's when you say, what do you look for and how do you decide? In my mind, we've created a huge piece of, a business together. And that's it. It's like not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
Yeah.
And that's what I look for, man. I mean, I look for that special, guttural instinct, I take it very seriously, and awesome. So that's when you decipher, like, well, I'm going to work with them, I'm going to not work with them, and it takes, you collectively, your team is brilliant, and I think what you do and how you fell into, unfortunately, this field, again, it was really like who asked for that, and but you took something unfortunate and made it really kind of cool and healed yourself, and that to me is worth everything, man. I mean, that's a golden ticket.
Before we go to bizarre news and stuff, and you've represented so many people over the years, right?
Uh-huh.
Do you have any like crazy stories that aren't like attorney-client privilege that you can throw out that come to memory?
Where do I begin? Well, not everything is bad,
Well, I didn't bring this up yet. Here, tell me just like you represent somebody else in the paranormal field.
I do, Theresa.
Yeah,
and Theresa,
Long Island.
Yeah, Long Island Medium, and she is a phenomenal woman. She's an outstanding person, a dear friend, and she just is really just so good, and she has a unique gift to and that's something that she, again, like she says, when you see her in a theater, she doesn't ask for. She never at 4 years old, she had this ability that she thought was normal. Yeah. And and very difficult to figure out how to harness this gift. I mean, I always feel like we as humans use just a small part of our brain.
Right.
And what if somebody?
What is she using? Right.
Yeah, like what if somebody has born with you don't go to college for that. You don't ask for I'm going to.
And that's what the skeptic would want to know. You're her agent, so is it bullshit? Is it all bullshit? Like that's the first question they would ask. And
the coolest story.
You've never experienced this, right?
The coolest story I always like to say is that it took me a long time to finally get on the phone with her and her manager and her attorney, who's a friend of mine. And I didn't even get to business. My dad, who is deceased, he passed away when I was early 20s. Came through, and we were laughing because he's a big cigar smoker, and she uses she uses very, very specific, articulate signs, so she doesn't speak in vague. And she was like, yeah, he's smoking cigars, he's still smoking cigars, and she, like, to convey that, pay attention. Yeah, and even before Theresa, Lisa Williams from the UK. Dear woman.
Oh, you worked with her too?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Holy shit! Wow.
Lisa's a wonderful woman, and that was my first, step into this field.
Yeah.
And,
I didn't know that. Wow.
Wow. Yeah. But going back and on our things that aren't that I could talk about. I mean, I had some wonderful experiences to work on Richard Pryor, God rest his soul, last tour when he was dealing with MS and
you were booking him.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Me and
Richard Pryor.
Yeah.
Name. Wow.
Yeah. Me and Mike Green and Chris, my guys that I was working with at the time, and so I back in the day, not to thoroughly date myself, I just got into business really early. We were working. I was one of 3 people working with Jim Carrey. Just on his live and tour.
Wow. And
at the time, it was me and Mike Green and Seth Feldman and Jim. If you're listening, you'd be like, "Who the fuck is Rick Super?" And that's why I mentioned Seth Feldman and Mike Green. But collectively, we're all working, and and we were touring him and putting him out.
Oh, wow.
And this is when he was on Living Color, and
that's awesome.
Yeah, and first he became the white guy, and like, who? I'm like, the white guy on Living Color. Then it became Fire Marshal Bill, and then it became the megastar, Jim Carrey, and then what we did in terms of touring ended. It was like Ace Ventura hit, and we weren't a part of that.
Yeah.
But
you've seen some shit over the years.
Yeah,
I get it.
Yeah, man.
You've seen a lot of really cool shit.
I've seen some stuff, man. I've been very privy to stuff. Here's the coolest story, and this has nothing to do with any clients. It just means when I came out and I was a young agent and moved out to LA, and I really was like, oh my God, and like palm trees and this is Rodeo, kid from Brooklyn. Yeah. The guy I was working for and a couple took us to a lingerie and pajama party in Hollywood Hills for Penthouse and Playboy.
Playboy Mansion.
No, it wasn't in Playboy Mansion.
Oh, it wasn't the Midsummer Night's Dream party.
No. It was just a lingerie party. The guy, this guy Simon, he was at the time head of Capitol Records, and I had never been, only in the movies have I been, but this is the first time I went to a quote unquote party in Hollywood Hills, and again there was no mountains and canyons and sparkly lights, so we walk in and just here's this gorgeous home, with DJs and playmates and things, and everyone's in lingerie, and I'm like, I was like, I couldn't believe my luck. I mean, I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing for a living, but apparently, whatever I'm doing, I saw that.
It's the right thing.
Yeah, I saw that. So,
so good.
Guess who called back?
Oh, fuck, Sig called. Oh, we missed this call.
Come on, before we wrap up, you got to say hello.
Oh, we got to go to break. We got one more ending to this, so that's what I'm trying to get there. But try to call him. Give him a call.
Does that make sense? Any of the...
Yeah. You mean the Hollywood stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's always a big part of... When you come out of here, man, it's a different world.
Hey, Rich, I'm at a dinner. Can I give you a jingle in about an hour?
Yeah, totally, man. You're on a podcast. We're just sending you our love. I'm here with Chad.
How you doing, Freddie?
Good, man.
Call me back.
Yeah, I'll give you a shout later.
All right, bro.
We're just at a dinner thing, and I'll give you a shout, man.
All right, pal. Later.
Right.
To improve your clout, he called back. Boom, motherfucker. With that, we're going to go to commercial break right now.
PARAMERICAN Radio will be right back after this commercial break with even more dope-ass shit.
Quite a few years ago, we met Chad Calek. He is the greatest paranormal documentary filmmaker there is. Unbelievable, and his life story is pretty unbelievable. And when Chad writes me and tells me, hey dude, we're coming to San Diego, and I have the definitive proof that ghosts are real, I go, what? Excuse me?
Huh?
Like, huh?
I heard just the trailer, and I just pulled my chair up behind him. And then next thing you know, Thor pulls his chair up, and it's a lengthy trailer, and we were glued. And now all I'm left with is, what is this footage that you guys are talking about? Because just from the trailer alone, like, mind blown. Mind blown. What is this footage? What is this footage? What is this footage? Blow. What?
What was that? What was that?
No! Oh my god! That was a ghost! Debbie! Oh god!
Yeah.
Holy shit.
That's crazy.
Dude. You know, and they're right. It's like a whoops.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. Like, you don't know, like, there's no way when you see it, and then the film just gets into it, and you're like, well, you know, that is what it is. And you see, it's just amazing.
Definitely irrefutable evidence. It was I knew to expect it, but it was a complete shock.
Something that you always think about and you hear about, but you never actually see. And to actually see it was amazing.
The first time you see it pop up, it's startling. Like you feel it.
Very intriguing, compelling, and the world needs to see this.
I can't put it into words because it's hard to describe. It was mind-blowing, I can say that.
Oh! Dude, that's crazy! That is scary as all crap.
I was expecting the typical TV, like, little shadow or something. My heart dropped. It was unreal. Unbelievable. I was absolutely shocked. I knew it was gonna be good, but I did not expect it to be that good.
I looked for every angle I could think of that might have been some kind of fakery or, you know, CGI, and they, I think, covered every aspect that you could think of that makes it real. Sir No Face is absolutely real.
I wasn't expecting there to be that clear of an apparition, but I was really blown away by what I saw, especially when they showed the slow motion and the close-up.
I want proof, and I gotta say that was pretty much proof.
I was stunned. It was better than what I had anticipated, actually. It was to have that full 3D image of something that you always knew existed but didn't have the definitive proof for.
When I actually saw the Sir No Face, I was like, my jaw dropped. I couldn't believe it. My heart stopped.
I have no words. It's very shocking, and I've never seen anything like that.
I was a little scared, I'm not gonna lie. I'm excited somebody's finally caught it for real.
And I tell you what, if you haven't seen it yet, you need to get out and see it because it is absolutely amazing.
I'm a skeptic. I came here because my wife and my son are both firm believers in the paranormal. So it was great to come out here with them, and I was, you know, trying not to poo-poo the whole thing. However, I gotta say, there's really no explanation that I can see for what I saw in the film.
It was great to see that, you know, something that you always believed was real.
It took my breath away. I almost brought tears in my eyes. It took my breath away.
Everything that happened in it was kind of, you just couldn't keep your eyes away from it.
This was a ghost. It was not human.
There was no way to make
There's no way it could be human at all. It was very convincing.
It was convincing because it was real.
I consider myself a skeptic, and I think that you know, they reasonably debunked everything that I thought it possibly could have been, especially the CGI aspect. I don't have an explanation for it. I believe it was something from other than this world.
Scared me shitless. I saw that and I was like, fuck. Fuck. That's the only thing that went through my mind.
Yeah, this is something you go into expecting one thing and you leave knowing a completely different reality.
After seeing the footage, I definitely believe ghosts are real now, for sure.
The best evidence I've ever seen when it came to ghost hunting. I've never seen anything like it.
I've seen a lot of Chad Calek's work, and that's exactly what I was waiting for, is to see that on film.
The bottom line is, people will see when they see this movie, Craig and his team captured a ghost. Period. The debate's over.
I'm convinced. Please come back, man. Thank you so much. What a pleasure, man. Thank you
so much.
Chad.
And the Paranormal Tour.
I've never seen anything like that in my life. So
Realistically real. That's that.
Yeah,
it was
that's it.
Amazingly real.
It was real. It was definitely real.
I don't think I've been ever more scared than I was seeing just the body and the face. Oh my gosh, the face.
Mind blowing. I love this kind of stuff, and the way he sets it up, I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, if you're not a believer, watch this movie, you soon will be.
He has a unique way of telling stories on stage, and when you watch it in film, it's even that much more real, it's that much more intense. It's like he just lets you walk into his world.
And we are back with more Paramerican Radio. To all the Tinder Steve fans, I promised you he would be on this episode, and he is here right now. He's going to take us down the rabbit hole. Steve, what is going on in the bizarre world of madness? What do you got for us, man?
What's up, man? So I'm going to start with NASA is putting Earth up for adoption. The space agency split the Earth up into 64,000 pieces, and each piece is 55 miles apart, and they're giving it away for free. You can't pick which part of Earth you get, but it's more for fun than anything else.
Obviously.
Kind of.
No shit. Someone's not really going to own 55 miles of the Earth.
Yeah, exactly. But it's similar to like the star thing that they do, you know, where you can buy a star. Or whatever. Yeah, I thought that was.
I know you can buy pieces of the moon, because I did that for my Aunt Terry owns a piece of the moon. I did it. You send so much money in. And to the government, and they give you an ownership of a piece of the moon.
America doesn't own the moon, though,
I know,
right?
I know, but it's just a funny thing. You actually get a document stating that it's your piece of the moon and shit.
I mean, how cool is that?
I know, I thought it was cool.
What do they do for a living? Like, I don't know, they own a quarter of the Earth.
Yeah, I know. They own a shitload of the Earth.
It doesn't matter. They own a quarter. You know, they own the core.
So how is NASA deciding who they give it to, though?
You have to go to their website and you apply or you sign up.
Hey, I would like some world.
Yeah.
Chad, TP Chad.
Yeah, I don't think it's open yet. I think it opens on Earth Day.
I don't get the purpose though. What's the purpose to do that?
Just to have fun, right? The fuck
literally
around.
Just for fun.
Here's the purpose. Well, here's the thing. There's going to be some dude who actually, you know, he's not going to take it lightly. He's like, no, you don't understand. I own the core.
That's funny.
You got to pay me rent.
What else you got, Stevie? Give us something good.
Another one is it's a study published in PLOS Computational Biology magazine, and the gist of the study was 25 is the golden age for your ability to make random choices.
Oh, so what you're saying is, at 25 years old, your thoughts are more random than any other time in your life.
Exactly.
Well, obviously,
that seems about right.
Yeah,
that's the
that
peak.
seems fair. You
Yeah.
get more set in your ways, right? As you get older, you find things at work. You cross out the things that don't work. I mean, we always said like we would never go back and make like our first movie the same way. That was crazy, you know.
Yeah. Well, you evolve, and you know, at 25, you know, you should be random. You should be. You know, like.
That's about the time where I think you first have your first inklings of like, maybe I should get serious. 25. You know what I mean?
I agree with you 100%. Yeah. That's when you're like, oh, all right,
you're
whatever.
like, well, 30 is right around the goddamn corner. I could sniff 30 now. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's
like,
about
all
right.
Because up until then, it's reckless.
Everything was kind of a fuck off. Yeah, no, big time.
Screw off, man.
I was the same. Yeah, I was doing. Yeah, I mean, think about it. I moved out to LA when I was 24. So
I moved out to LA when I was 26.
So about
and that was right about when I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get serious with this.
Right.
You know.
Right. That was the same way.
And then you're still stupid. You're just stupid, and like, oof. You think about it.
Well, you're bliss, right? Ignorance is bliss. You know what I mean? It's like you're blissfully believe in everything. Not knowing. The fundamental simple principles, like don't be a jack of all trades, be the best at one fucking thing. You know what I mean? Like things like that you don't know.
Can you imagine, like what what would have been like at, you know, at 25 for you or me. I mean, you know, we definitely had cell phones, but there was no, you know, there was selfies and you know, and dating apps and things like.
Yeah.
Man, it's a whole new world, man.
A whole new world, bro.
I mean,
like my daughter one day is not going to understand when I say that we used to have to wait for phone calls.
Yeah.
Like if you want to date a girl or something, you waited for that fucking phone call to talk to her.
Yeah, and if
you know what I mean?
And then if you're a guy, you know, you put in the time, man. Like you had to like, I mean, like you literally.
Think about this: kids no longer pass notes. That was a big thing in high school, passing notes. When you wanted to get stuff across, that was life, you know what I mean?
Yeah, man, that was like, you know.
Doesn't happen anymore. You know
I never even thought of that.
Yeah.
That was huge.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's how you let girls know you like them, go on dates, hit it up with me, like all that shit.
Totally,
passing
man.
notes,
Yeah, totally,
you know what I mean? Doesn't happen anymore. Teachers used to give what they called referrals or after school to stay for passing notes.
Yeah.
You get caught. Doesn't happen anymore. Now it's all...
Yeah, as far as the randomness, man, it's just like what you don't... Your brain, the neural pathways, you keep going over the same ones and they almost create ruts. So you get comfortable in thinking and doing that way. It's almost like you can change the furniture around your room and it gives you this new idea to think differently now because you've been seeing your living room this way for whatever, 5 years. Really good point. And now you can just think outside of the box a little bit. Yeah. And sometimes it makes it hard to relate to a younger generation because you forget how you thought back then. Yeah. Like when you were 20 years old or whatever.
100%.
And you could go in 50 different directions and somebody older going, what are you doing? You're doing it all wrong. But you gotta respect the idea that all these new technologies, all these new directions would have never came about if somebody wasn't doing it all
Dude,
wrong.
I'll tell you a story. I remember my first year of college, I was at the university, my mom was so worried about me being a mom. I was a mama's boy. For all the struggles I had with her, I was oddly a mama's boy. And she made my dad buy me the phone that was in the leather bag. Do you remember this? Like the first version of the cell phone?
The brick?
Yeah, it was like in a leather bag. And it was this big, right? And it was analog. And it was like $12 a minute to use the fucking thing. And it barely worked. It sounded like a fucking CB when you were on it.
And did calls drop all the time?
Constantly. And I took it on campus with me once to like try to be cool. It totally worked. Like everyone was like, "What is that?" I remember that, a crowd gathering around
where'd you
to
go to
see
school?
Iowa State University. I was a Big 12 kid. Iowa State, Ames, Iowa.
It was Big 8 at the time, but yeah. I had the same thing in my car when I worked on Twister. It was like, dude's got a cell phone in his car. It was a big bag phone.
Bag phone. Yeah,
I remember
a big fucking deal.
My pal, you know, his family, you know, they were always, you know, well off, and they had a Mercedes, which is like,
big time.
You got a Mercedes.
Oh, yeah.
And there was a phone in the car, and it was to dial up. You know, like it wasn't even push button.
That's hilarious. Just dial up.
Yeah, dial up. And I used to think like, all right, first of all, it was a Mercedes and a phone in the car. That's huge. I was just a kid, and like, all right. Even before I got started, I'm like, what am I doing
That's
wrong?
The sickest shit you've ever seen.
Yeah, like
totally,
are you kidding me? And like, and then if you're like, and who has the time to die unless you're stuck in traffic? You know.
That's you're balling. Yeah, if you got a rotary phone today, if you have a rotary phone in your car, you're fucking balling. Who would have that?
Who has the time?
Awesome.
Who has the time?
I know. It'd be like, I'll just hit it up on my rotary in my car.
I mean, what are you doing? Finger exercise? Like, what the hell is the time? But a Mercedes, and I'm like, you know, like.
Oh, it took has changed.
Yeah, I know. And then I'm thinking about like, you know, the ballers who would be like, you know, screaming and cursing and deal makers and like. You know, I got to get this, you know, this person on the phone immediately.
Oh, yeah.
Get me so-and-so. And it was like...
Well, can you imagine? I keep imagining the day I'm going to have to explain to my daughter that we didn't have the web. The web is so ingrained in everything now. Like, she's literally going to look at me like, what the fuck are you talking about? You didn't have the web? How'd you do anything? You know what I mean? Because everything is done on the web now. And we were in that, like, we remember before it ever came. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the world was slow back then.
Yeah, totally.
It's so fast right now.
You know, it's unbelievable. I mean, it's lightning, and you know, and it's good and bad.
Yeah.
You know, it is good and bad. So
it's less interpersonal. It's more quick. Yeah.
Listen, good. I always say that, God forbid, someone's having a heart something or a medical, you know, something they could. or they need to find your history of what you're allergic to, what you're not, and they have that information. But other than that, it's real. It's
bad because the pilot doesn't have to feel the pain of dropping bombs and killing people. They could play Star Wars and drones. You know what I mean? There's a list of bads.
Honestly, it's good and evil. I mean, it is 50-50 in my opinion.
I feel you. What else you got for us, man?
All right. This next one is scientists at the Endocrine Society are working on a way to lose weight by magnetic brain stimulation to make your gut bacteria healthier. And the way this works is there's an underlying cause of obesity, maybe impaired gut microbacteria composition, and an imbalance of the complex mix of beneficial and harmful microorganisms that are in your gut. And scientists believe that this bacteria can alter the brain's signals for appetite and fullness. So now
eating patterns.
Right, exactly. So now they're working on a way for people to lose weight by basically putting electrodes on your brain.
Programming the brain.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Fundamentally, like we talked about this earlier, as a big dude, every year I go on tour, I'll lose 30, 40 pounds. And part of it is because I know tour's coming up and it's time to, you know what I mean? The bottom line is that most people are not doing what it takes to be in shape. I can fully say that when I'm on tour and when I'm prepping for a tour, it's a totally different lifestyle than otherwise. You know, when I hear stuff like this, it's like, cool, I'm glad they're doing it, but it's kind of like the sock thing where they cut part of the stomach out. It's like, I'm glad you did it if someone had to do it, and they're like, look, you have diabetes, you're going to die unless we do this, right? But if that's not the case, part of me is just like, don't give them a way to make it easy. You know what I mean? Like, you just said, fuck it, and let yourself go. I'll chop this out, and you'll be good. It's like, you didn't help them.
Well,
you know what I mean? Like, you basically forgave the bullshit that they need to accept to become healthy.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Am I the only one who sees that? I feel that way.
Well, yeah. What you're talking about is putting a Band-Aid on the wound. You know,
right.
Like, you know,
there's
like,
a problem
you know,
here. You know what I mean?
You got to treat that, you know, emotionally.
Yeah.
You know, and cutting part of your stomach out is sure if it's not going to hurt you. And going to save your life, but emotionally you have to deal with. It's two parts, but they're only dealing with one.
Right.
You know what I mean? You gotta why are you doing this? What emotionally is going on? Where it doesn't matter if it's food, if it's alcohol or drugs. You know, you got to fix. The mind.
And a lot of it is understanding your mind. Like, I'm a person that when I focus on one thing, I go into that whole one thing.
Yeah.
So if I'm focusing on my work, that's it.
Yeah.
Right? So then I'm like, oh shit, I haven't been focusing on my lifestyle.
No.
So then when I focus on that, then I can burn weight. Just because that's my only thing now. But I'm just like that.
The biggest thing that happens on tour is that you're forced into a schedule.
Yeah, into a schedule. And you have a different relationship with food. Like when I'm on tour, all I care about is that show, packing it, and making sure everybody has an amazing time. So food becomes about just substance to keep rolling.
Just
you know
survival.
what I mean? Right.
I got to put some gas in the car.
Totally. There's many times I'm like, why am I having a headache? Oh, fuck, I haven't eaten yet.
Yeah.
And it's like, damn, it's 12 hours later.
Yeah.
And then you just eat a small sandwich because you don't want to get sleepy or tired or anything.
Yeah,
you just totally. Quick, go. And that's the relationship you have now with food. Most people, like, losing weight is fundamentally not fucking hard. It's real simple. Output more than you take in. It's fundamentally that simple. What's hard is, scheduling your life and adjusting that relationship. With
Not only, buddy, I mean schedule, because your body will. It doesn't. You need a schedule to know when do we start burning calories here. Dude, if he wakes up every time at this time in the morning, and he does a walk in the morning, now it's time to start burning it. And you can literally not do that walk some mornings, and your body will still...
Your body learns patterns, absolutely.
Right. And if you're changing the pattern constantly and staying up all night long, and then your body's like...
It never knows when to hang on.
I'm holding everything in here because I don't know what you're going to throw at me next. Yeah.
So I'm back to this thing, the news piece. Cool. But again, part of me just kind of feels like, oh man, that's just kind of fucking defeating the purpose. You know what I mean?
I totally agree.
The reason we start feeling shitty when we get overweight is so your body lets you know you're overweight. You need to change something.
Yeah,
totally. I'm naturally a big fucking dude, right? So I can feel my natural size where I'm like good. I'm like, I'm good. And then I can totally tell it's like, man, you know what? breathing a little heavier, a little slower getting up, a little slower to wake up, like all that shit.
Right, but
and that's always that signal. Fuck, I got to turn this back around.
You'll know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
But think about the people that can't work out, like people that are in wheelchairs.
Sure, there are certain cases, right? In certain cases, like I said, if someone is like obese to the point where like they have diabetes and they're obviously not going to change it and they're going to die, and this happens where doctors go, well, if we do this, we could at least stop the progression of the diabetes, then we could work on you. You know, like in those scenarios, I totally get it. But a lot of this stuff, it's going to wind up being abused for the wrong fucking reasons. You know what I mean? Sure. It's going to be like, let me just do whatever the fuck I want, and then it's like the dude that takes his Xanny to come off coke. Come on. You know what I mean? It's like, bro, yes, the Xanny will take you down, but that's not what it's intended for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, you know,
totally. I totally hear you. By the way, I have to comment. This is so stylized. This is. I've done podcasts before, but like this is.
Ooh, I'm glad you dig it, man.
Really,
we don't
well
play.
Done. Yeah, no, man, you do not play. Man. This is like, you know, this is real. This is, you know, goddamn.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, usually, guys, we do a movie review and fan questions, but we specifically plan to have more time with Richard. Again, we're going to have him back on a future episode. I know everybody enjoyed this podcast. Richard, thank you for coming on. You didn't have to do this. It means a lot, man.
Yeah, man. I'm totally humbled to, and thank you for having me, all of you. And this is the coolest, you know,
podcast you've been on.
Actually, really, I've been on some podcasts. I mean, this is really, really cool, and awesome. I think what all of you are doing collectively is really kind of cool. And for those who are listening, it's so artistically. I mean, really, it's like, how'd you know to put this poster on an angle? And like, really well done, man. This is architectural digest. Like, this is really, really, you know. I'm thrilled. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah,
well, we were planning on making it to your brewery. You own a brewery in town, right?
I do, down the block, Santa Monica. Yeah, I think we could still make it.
Okay.
Okay, let's do that. We're gonna wrap it up right now to get to his brewery. Stevie, Justin, say goodbye.
Talk to you later, people.
Hasta luego.
We'll see you next time on PARAMERICAN Radio. Peace.
PARAMERICAN Radio.